house. I'm not going to traumatize this child further by having the child have to go to the police station. Fenton is entitled to have visitation with his child over Christmas. Are you opposing that?
In the original judgment that you ordered August 30th that was on YouTube, I screen recorded it. He had an attorney, but he fired it, so the papers never got filed. But you said 90 days come back to court, supervised Saturdays, alternating Sundays. That's what the order was. And then he got a new lawyer that's putting stuff in the order saying that he can take them unsupervised, and that's just not okay.
Well, we don't have a transcript of that, and I'm not going back and watch a YouTube video of my own court to determine what I did or did not rule. The docket sheet may reflect that. Listen to what I'm about to say, and that is entitled to have some sort of visitation over Christmas. I'm going to step off. I'm going to give you and Ms. Hendrickson an opportunity, and Ms. Duke, you can be involved in it if you choose to. I know you're not really retained at this point, but you may want to talk to her now and see whether or not that's likely that you're going to be able to be retained. But I'm going to hear something about Christmas visitation. He needs to be able to see his child, children.
No problem. Any
Pardon?
I have no problem letting him.
All right. Well, let's talk to Ms. Hendrickson and see what you two can agree upon. And I'll take about a 10-minute recess, and then I'm going to come back, and then I will start this as soon as I come back. And if you two don't have an agreement on Christmas, and we'll go until I have to leave at 11 and come back at 2. We'll take it back up again.
Thank you.
All right.
90 days was over, which is what it was over by the end of November. And then beginning December, it was supposed to be 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. unsupervised, still during the weekends.
All right. Then you may put on your proof. Call your first witness.
Judge, I call my client.
Step around. I guess it's going to be here. So have you come around here. Is Hillary...
She's not been retained, is what I have heard. Mr. Fenton, state your full name for the record.
Matthew Christopher Fenton.
Okay. We calculate from August the 31st when you had your first visitation all the way to 90 days, actually to today, you would have had 16 days of visitation. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And out of those 16 days, how many were you able to actually spend time with your son, Ashton?
She only allowed me 8
visits. During those 8 visits, how was Ashton responding to you whenever you show up at Miss Hewitt's home?
Oh, he's really excited, just jumping up and down every time I get to the door.
Okay.
Trying to put shoes on so he can go to the park.
Okay. He's pretty much you by your face, and what does he call you?
He's not really real verbal, but...
Okay. Are you able to ascertain his needs between you and him interacting?
Yes, ma'am.
Is he able to basically, you just said that he's mostly nonverbal, is that what you said?
Yeah, he says little things like go and yeah, not really that verbal.
Okay. In terms of going to the bathroom or if he needs to eat and things like that, are you able to figure out what your son needs? All right. And isn't it true that you're able to take him out of Miss Hewitt's home in those visits without her being present, but with her consent?
Yes, it started December 1st. I should have received 3 visits. I drive down every weekend and...
Hold on, Mr. Fenton. Oh, you need to...
I might need to get a little closer. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Rephrase my question. During those 8 days that you had visitation, did Miss Hewitt to take Ashton outside of her home without her presence, and you were able to visit with him?
Yes, ma'am. Me and her daughter Sophie and Ashton, and then my fiance Asia, we would go to the park, which is just a few hundred feet down the road from her house.
Okay.
And then on one occasion, I had to go get Miss Hewitt some car parts. Her car had messed up, and me, Asia, and Ashton all went together to get those without her.
Okay. And your plans for Christmas? Do you have any relatives?
Yeah, my sister and my nieces are all planning to come to the house for Christmas.
Okay. And you got gifts prepared for Ashton?
Oh, yeah. This whole room set up. 13 family members come over for Thanksgiving, but I wasn't allowed to get him. She would not even answer the door.
Right. And then my last question to you is just describe to the judge, how many bedrooms do you have in your home?
3.
Okay. And you would have a separate bedroom for Ashton to sleep over if you're allowed to take him there from the 24th to the 25th?
Yes, ma'am. It's all set up. His toddler bed, everything he needs. It's a brand new room. I built the house and it's never been stayed in.
Okay. That will show you photos.
You may.
I did.
Fairly recent.
Yes, ma'am. This was just last weekend on
And-
Sunday.
Okay, and it fairly depict the condition
Have
of
you
your
shown Ms.
home.
Hewitt?
Yes, Judge, I gave her a copy, actually. So photos, if you can peruse them, it's your home, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And then you have a separate bedroom where it's got a mini bed for Ashton, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you feel that your home is safe for him
Most definitely.
and suitable?
Most definitely.
And who lives there?
Me, my fiance, Asia, and my stepdaughter, Elena.
Okay, and how have you been living with your fiance and Elena?
Just a little bit over 3 years.
Okay, so you've been in.
October was 3 years.
Okay, and I was actually on the stand the last time that you were in front of Judge Wolf, is that correct?
That's correct.
And she testified that you had taken care of her all that time, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Judge, I would like to enter that as an exhibit.
All right, mark it as Exhibit 1.
And then I will show you another set of pictures, Fenton.
Asia, my fiance.
Okay, and those picture depict.
Us at the park. Well, I guess on one occasion at the park, we went multiple times. And then this one depicts, he really likes to get in my truck and push the horn and play with all the buttons. And he thinks it's funny because I won't let him push the horn. He tries to get around me to do it. And then
Those photos were
it's 2
taken-
times at the park. This
Okay.
is, because the shirt's different there. So it
Okay.
does show 2.
Okay, so they were taken during your visitation after you were in front of Judge Wolf, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. And
Okay.
then the very last one, that was from April.
Okay,
Right.
so okay.
I found on March 25th that he was my biological son, and I was able to go down and have a visit at Ms. Hewitt's home. And actually, that's not at her home. This is when I took him and Sophie to Thunder Alley, the bowling alley, with my
Okay.
mother.
And so Miss Hewitt allowed you to take Ashton outside of her home,
Yes, ma'am.
outside of her presence, okay. Would like to enter that as an exhibit. And so you're asking Wolf to grant you December the 24th from 12 p.m., is that right?
Please.
To December 25 at time.
That's
So that
correct.
mom can have the second half of Christmas vacation.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then, Judge, I have in the motion supervised visitation, so will that be continued, or am I allowed to go ahead and request for that
Well-
hearing?
Your motion is for, I'm not going to modify the order other than to set some Christmas visitation. The order previous to be unsupervised beginning November 30th, according to that original order, at least the way it was drawn, correct?
Yes, Judge.
The way the order was drawn states that after 90 days, he shall have unsupervised visitation from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. with permission to take the child to locations outside the mother's home during his parenting time. And that was entered in November. I'm not going to address anything except Christmas visitation at this point since she has no attorney.
And that's all my questions, Judge.
Hewitt, you have the right, acting as your own attorney, to ask questions of him regarding his request for Christmas visitation or anything he's testified to. It is not your time to testify. I'm going to give you a chance to testify, but do you have questions you want to ask? If you do, you need the podium. You're not required to ask any questions, but it is your chance to ask them if you have any.
So did you have open CPS investigations in Scottsville regarding your stepdaughter, your
No.
ex-wife? So there's not court documents in Scottsville, Kentucky, where you and Buffy went to court with your stepdaughter?
I never,
Remember going to court with your ex-wife?
no.
So if we pull the files, the court records,
You can pull, there is no, I
Yes.
have 0 criminal record.
changed your last name.
I
That's
changed my
why you
last
changed your
name at
last name.
32. I have my,
I'm sorry. You're going to ask in the form of a question. You can ask him whether or not he did or did not change his last name.
Did you change your last name after you and your wife went to court for the money of your stepdaughter, buying her a, I quote, practice for her?
I changed my last name at 32 years old after I went through my first divorce and had my lawyer retained when my grandmother was on her deathbed because she asked me to change my last name because I'd never carried my father's last name. With my DNA records, I changed my last name.
Had nothing to do with trying to evade what had
No.
transpired
it
in
had to
court
do
with your
me having
ex-wife.
the wrong last name.
Okay. Your whole life.
You're supposed to carry their father's last name, so you can
I
pass it
mean,
on.
just kind of what had happened after.
You can't make a statement.
Sorry.
You need to ask a question.
Okay. I'm just feel safe.
Thank you. Just have a seat. Hold on, Mr. Benton, where do you live?
Scottsville, Kentucky. It's east of Bowling Green, about 10 miles across the
So
Tennessee, Kentucky.
how long does it take you to drive between there and where the child is living?
It's 2 hours traffic, 2.5 with traffic. It varies. I always allow 2.5 hours.
How long did you, how long have you had this lady in your life?
Over 3 years, 3 years.
And
in
is she
October.
living with you at that address?
Yes.
So that, the pictures that we show is your residence with this lady that's your girlfriend or whatever, live in together. Okay. Now, and does she have children?
Yes, a 6-year-old. She turned 16 December the 9th, Elena.
Allegations get made in divorces sometimes to gain an advantage over a custody situation. And I'm just going to ask you that you're under oath and you understand that lying under oath is aggravated perjury, a felony.
Yes, sir.
So she's asked you a question about this issue, about whether or not there was ever an accusation made against you that you had molested a child in a prior. Was there such an allegation? Yes or no?
There was a CPS investigation, but it wasn't to do with anything to do with me. It had to do with her finding a toy that was brand new in the laundry room late at night and carried it to her bedroom across the house, took a picture of it, sent it to her friends by her grandma's.
It was a what now?
It was a little, but it was brand new, and it was wrapped up in a package in the laundry room, hidden.
And who did this? The child took a picture of it?
She took it from the laundry room while everybody else was in bed, took it to her bedroom, unwrapped it, snapped a picture of it, and sent it to her friend that lived beside her grandma in Westmoreland, Tennessee. Well, the friend shows her mom, mom calls grandma, grandma calls CPS.
All right. There was an investigation. What was the result of that investigation?
Was her brother stayed there and she lived with her dad and then ultimately went to live at her grandma's. Her brother graduated.
But there was
from
never,
home.
according to you, there was never any investigation of you for you allegedly having committed some act against this
No,
child.
no criminal, anything. I mean, no.
Now, your son, little boy, correct?
Yes, sir.
And he is 3 years old. And you have had contact with him since you learned, as you said, in March, that he was March of this year, that he was your
2025.
biological child.
March the 25th, yes, sir.
And you understand that's not a very long period to have a relationship with a child that's 3 years old. You're just beginning to learn him and him learn you. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
And we are not going to deal with what's going to happen in visitation was with, the future, except I'm trying to with this Christmas. Who is you're saying is coming to your house for Christmas?
My mother, which is 82 years old, and my sister, Jaren, which Miss Hewitt was best friends with when we were kids, and she is 2 years older than, so she would be 43. And then I have 2 nieces that are 12 and 10, and then I have 2 grown nieces that are 24 and 26 who are registered nurses, and then nephew, and he's 20, and he's in the field as well.
All right. Okay.
Anton, I just want to clarify the change name, and I'm going to pass some documents to you. Tell me what those documents are.
My original birth certificate from when I was born, my original social security card, my last name reading Englehart, as well as the birth certificate. When I was born, from 0 to 1, my name was changed 3 times by my mom, or twice. I know I carried my sister. We have different dads. Last name originally, which was Reisinger, and then my mother changed it to Englehart when I was 0 to 1. And my grandma was on her deathbed. She asked me to change my last name. She said, "You're going to have a son one day, and I want him to have the right last name." She said, "So you have your DNA. Please go change your last name." I did this at 32 years old, so many, many years ago. It's been 9 years I did this.
So you didn't change your name to a criminal prosecution
didn't.
whatsoever?
No,
And tell me about the clearances that you have gotten from the government, from NASA and things like that, just very briefly.
I did a project year before last in Mississippi at the NASA facility, which is a government facility. And I mean, you have to do extensive checks, and I have a U.S. government badge labeled.
Okay, so they had run your background and things like that. Is that
Yes,
right?
ma'am. I've worked federal projects, so anytime I work on my airport, like B&A Airport or any high profile, it's part of it, you know. You have
Okay. And that's an ongoing situation, or is that right?
Yes, for the last 23 years. That's correct.
And the reason why you were not able to visit with your child from the time that he was born was because Miss Hewitt concealed the real paternity of Ashton to you. Is that correct?
Yes, and I have that in a message where she told me I came in from Virginia when he was expected, and she would not let me come to the hospital. Told me it had nothing to do with me, that she had already DNA'd the father, and I just assumed he was already there. And the other father is actually, she goes up, she had a DUI, and the bondsman that bonded her out of jail was the other potential father, and he was exonerated, or when Ashton was 1 year old. I received notice from the Tennessee Child Support Office in February of this year asking me to do a DNA test. That was how I found out.
And from then on, you tried to foster the relationship. Is that right?
Yes.
And is that your purpose here, to continue to have that relationship with your son?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's all, Judge. And I'm not entering those documents, so you can take it with you.
Okay.
So you and Miss Hewitt had a relationship at some point. How long was that relationship?
We never had a relationship. We knew each other from the time we were children, from about 5 to 16. My mom's farm, which she still owns in Rockbridge, Bethpage, Tennessee.
Well, obviously she became pregnant, so you had some sort of a relationship.
Well, I was married for years, and I didn't really see Miss Hewitt until I guess it would have been 2020 and Facebook. She ended up reaching out to me on Facebook, and I went down, and it was kind of just went down for the weekend and with Miss Hewitt, and then it wasn't long afterwards she was stated pregnant, and I went back down, only on a couple weekends, and knew that the other potential was, that they were having a relationship based off of their phone conversations. And I worked on the road, worked on the gas pipelines, so I did a lot of travel. And
So when did you find out she was pregnant?
probably about a week after, or 2 weeks. Well, really, I didn't know for sure until 4.5 months when I took her to the doctor.
All
For
right.
the
And
first
who
time.
did she tell you was the father of this child?
She told me it was the other guy. I'm not sure his name.
So you at no time knew that you were the father until you got this petition from the Department of Child Support Office, rather.
No, I mean, she told me when she first got pregnant it was mine, but then it changed very quickly that it was the other guy's. And so I didn't really, I'm 40, fixing to be 41, and I've never had a biological child. So I believed her. I really believed that, it was the other man's child, but.
You have the right, if you have any other questions, I'll allow you to ask those questions. Do you have anything else you want to ask him? All right, thank you. Step down. All right, Mr. Fenton has rested his proof, so Ms. Hewitt, if you want to be heard on this issue, I'll be glad to let you testify, but we're also just dealing with his request for Christmas visitation, in which he is requesting Christmas Eve until Christmas Day at noon. So come to the podium. If you're going to testify, are you going to testify? Then come around here and right hand and be placed under oath. All right. Let me correct one thing. I know you do this as my child statistic. Number one, it's not just your child. He is the father of that child, and the legal rights that he has are such that you cannot simply say, this is my child, I'm going to do it my way. So you have to understand that he has a legal right that has to be balanced with your legal right, and first and foremost is the best interest of the child. So why don't you tell me what it is that you object to him having visitation over Christmas?
Object to supervised visitation, but he doesn't know Ashton well enough or anything about. I mean, I've raised a 22-year-old special. He's in college now for cybersecurity. He works at licensed pharmacy tech. I've been doing this a long time. I've got a 12-year-old daughter, and now Ashton, but he's more special needs than any of them. He's got a rare heart condition also. He gets therapies all through the week. He was with TIS from birth, and then we switched over to the Board of Education, where he gets ABA, OT, PT, speech, and it's just, he doesn't know, overstimulated, and when he's had this visitation, the only thing that he does is pick him up. He doesn't try to talk to him or anything. And he's worried about taking him out to his truck where his girlfriend sits the whole time outside the house in the truck. That's what he goes out there, and he's more worried about her sitting in the truck than my child. And we got in an argument because he was teaching him to go up to the road, you know, and he kept trying to go up there and he lay on the horn, you know, and I have neighbors and things too. But I don't feel comfortable. And as far as I can prove from his own messages, he's known since day one this is his child. The only reason any of this started because I had to work with DHS child support finally, to be honest, I wish I just never did. I have to deal with this because he's dangerous, he's erratic. And as far as his sister, I've got messages from his sister too. His sister and his nieces and nephews, they don't want anything to do with him. His mom's even scared of him and doesn't like to deal with him. Yes, she's rode down there to see Ashton, but at the same time, she knows and how he is. He's just erratic. You never know what it's going to be. And he always takes it out on women and children.
Right. So when you say you would be in favor of supervised visitation, what exactly are you proposing?
Continue like my house supervised, where I can see.
He allowed to take the child away from your house?
Like to the playground.
So he's been away from you while he's had his child?
I mean, I drove down there, and then the other time that I'm friends with watched.
Right.
But it's right next to my house.
Ms. Hendrickson, you have any questions?
Who is your son's pediatrician?
What does that have to do with anything?
What was your question?
Who is the child's pediatrician? She's saying that the child is going through therapy and things, which we don't think it's correct.
Number one, you don't get to, you can object to a question, but that you need to understand one thing. And this is, you've referred to child as my child more than once. And I thought maybe I'd emphasize it enough, but I want to make sure you understand. This is the father of this child. You and he had a sexual relationship, and he is the biological father of this child. Therefore, he is vested with certain rights that the law in the state of Tennessee give him. Those rights include, as a non-custodial parent, the right to know who the child's doctors are, the right to be advised of certain things about this child. And this is all said and done, there's going to be a parenting plan that's going to be entered that's going to set forth all of that information. But you cannot say, going to let him know who the pediatrician is.
I mean,
so you're going to have to answer that question from Ms. Hendrickson. Answer the question.
Dr. Carol Moore.
What's the first name?
Carol.
Carol, C-A-R-O-L. And where is the office at?
Dixon on Mathis Drive.
On where?
Mathis Drive.
Okay, so if I check the records, they will have Ashton's there, medical records there?
Yes.
Okay. Who is the cardiologist?
Dr. Bruns.
Can you say that again?
Dr. Bruns.
Can you spell that?
B-R-U-N-S.
What's the first name?
I don't know.
Okay. And where is his office at?
He up here certain days, but is at Centennial.
Centennial in Nashville?
Yes.
Centennial Boulevard?
Centennial, like the hospital.
Oh, Centennial Hospital. I see what you're saying. Okay. And you said your son has a rare heart. What is that rare heart condition?
It's Epstein's anomaly, pulmonary hypertension. One of the valves isn't fully formed, so it gushes. He's been getting EKG since he was born, and he didn't have to, luckily, medication, but we had to wean him off oxygen.
So, but he's able to play like a regular child, things like that. Is that right?
I mean, he plays.
Yeah. Okay. So, Judge, you've allowed me to park with that. That was asked. Tell me about the therapy. So you said there's an occupational therapy, a physical therapy, and a speech therapy. Just briefly, what is the schedule during the week on that?
He goes to school during the week, and from 7:30 to 10:30. And we just redid his IEP where they increased 30-minute physical therapy because of lack of muscle tone in his feet, being hypermobile.
What exact school are you talking about? Where are you taking him?
Oakmont Elementary, special services,
Okay, so he's enrolled there right now?
yes,
Okay.
and previously TEIS since.
Okay. Mr. Fenton has brought mother with him on occasions. You remember that?
Yeah, I love his mom. I
Right,
mean, I
so-
love her.
So it's not true that he does not have a good relationship with his mother,
No, he
because in
does-
fact, he has taken him to your house so that he can see his grandson. Is that right?
That doesn't mean he has a good relationship with his mom.
But he has taken the grandma with him
Yeah.
on
and
some
then
of the
she comes-
visitation. Okay.
And, yeah,
So Ashton met his grandma, correct?
yes.
And you're saying that Mr. Fenton knew, but in fact, you texted him confirming that you told him he was not the father. Do you remember that text message?
Oh, yes, I've got text messages too, but after many drunk, late night, crazy messages, and I mean, he called me a drunk gutter and all, so, and I've got the message from his sister too, just say it's not his.
Okay, so but you never corrected it. Let's say you were
He
told
knew.
him you're not the.
I don't
Let
drink.
me finish the question, ma'am.
I don't drink.
Well, you just said you were drunk.
I said he was drunk.
Oh, he was drunk. Okay, so but you are confirming that you told him he was the father. Is that correct?
Yes, but he knew.
Okay.
He had a
So
period
it was
tracker
a
on his phone.
misstatement.
One of you
I'm
talk at
sorry.
a time, please.
So it was a misstatement when you claimed there on that stand that he belonged, because you told him he was not the father.
He knew all along. He had a period tracker on my phone. We were apart in the beginning when we were together. He purposely got me pregnant. And then when I wouldn't move out and live in a travel trailer, like when I worked out of town and lose my housing and all that crap, he got mad and but I would still get this crazy erratic messages, or he'd show up out of the blue.
But why did you tell him that the DNA test was not
He had a
him?
DNA test in his truck when he came down after Ashton Warren. Walked in the house, said he had a DNA test in the truck, but he knew he didn't need it because it was his kid. And before this was even set up to let him see him, I let his mom and him come see Ashton at my house without any orders. And I said that they could come see him.
Okay, but since then, you were not following the judge's order.
Well-
You have not been allowing Mr. Fenton to see his son whenever it's possible. I understand when the child is sick, but when he's not sick, after 2.5 hours
You're
of
not
driving,
Ms. Hendrickson, I've told you, we're not dealing with the contempt issue, and I don't think it's
Understand,
appropriate to go into those issues.
that's all my
This is
question.
only about the.
And I only know of the supervised Saturdays. And it says that in the YouTube video, we were supposed to come to court back to here after 90 days. Now, what you
I
ever
just
drew
ruled
up.
that we're not going into that, so you
Sorry.
don't have to say anything else about that. So,
That's all my questions, Judge.
anything else you want to say?
Me.
All right, thank you. Step down. Do you have any witnesses you wish to call? All I can say is that, number one, the court's main emphasis in all of these cases is the best interest of the minor child. Mr. Fenton says he was not aware that he was the father. In fact, he was denied that he was the father, and therefore he didn't take any steps over the last 3 years until he got notified that he was going to be the father, or that he was potentially the father, and then the testing proved that he was. She says, of course, Ms. Hewitt says that he knew all along he was the father. I'm not sure exactly how she said he intended to get her pregnant and so forth, but they had a voluntary sexual relationship that resulted in a child. That is the immutable fact. And as a result of that, we've got a child who's in the middle of this scenario. Ms. Hewitt obviously has nothing good to say about the man she had sex with and had a child with, but she essentially doesn't want him to have unsupervised visitation. I don't have any proof before me that he poses a threat to this child, but by the same token, the proof before me is he has a number of health issues, including being nonverbal. Even Mr. Fenton testified the young man is very limited in what he has to say. It's a giant leap from going from supervised visitation of a child that you first get acquainted with at 2.5 or 3 years old, to having the child spend the night with you on Christmas Eve and until Christmas Day at noon. That's a world away from what I think this child would do. But by the same token, he needs to have visitation with a child that his family can be a participant in, because this extended family is this child's family. So the balancing of those is the difficult part of this. I think that under these circumstances, I'm not going to grant him the visitation from Christmas Eve overnight to Christmas Day, but I will grant him visitation from 8 o'clock Christmas morning until 6 o'clock p.m. Christmas Eve. I'm sorry, Christmas Eve morning at 8 a.m., Christmas Eve at 6 p.m. He'll have the right to take the child to Kentucky if that's what he wishes to do, to visit with his family. He will give her a telephone number where she can talk to the child while he's there and make sure that she's reassured that there's not any problems. The only reason I'm not granting the overnight visitation is my concern about these health issues, a congenital heart defect, other issues that Ms. Hewitt says under oath this child has. You're going to have a right to look at those medical records and determine whether or not she's being truthful with the court. Same thing, you be quiet when I'm talking. Same thing goes for your testimony about what you say this past event has. She has a right to bring in evidence regarding that, and I'll determine at a later time, or one of the other judges would, whether or not you've been truthful in the history that you've given me. This child deserves to have both parents, but I'm of the opinion that right now you need to take small steps to get to that point. So I'm giving you unsupervised visitation on Christmas Eve of this year to allow you to try to have that time with your family in that, and we'll see how that goes. But I am of the opinion that is the best scenario I can create for the child to have that contact. And that will be the order of the court. So Ms. Hendrickson will draw this order, and the visitation will begin 8 a.m. Christmas Eve morning.
Judge, if I may, maybe request that mother just, the exchange should happen at the Dixon Police instead of the father going to the house, because in the past, the mother would just simply lock the doors.
That
And
happens,
so-
she's going to go to jail. So, I mean, he may miss his Christmas visitation. He may end up with custody of the child because she's going to, if she denies this court order, she is looking at 10 days, because that's what's going to happen, Ms. Hewitt. I'm ordering this. You have to comply. You don't have a choice. And as a result, it's 8 a.m. Christmas Eve morning until 6 p.m. Christmas Eve night. We'll pick the child up at her house. I'm not going to traumatize this child further by having the child have to go to the police station and be exchanged with his parent. All that's going to do is convey to the child that there's something dangerous going on here, or else there wouldn't have to be exchanged at the police department. Go pick the child up. You'll have the child ready to go with whatever needs to go with him to be able to spend the day. The child goes to daycare, so he's away from you for times. This is nothing different than that, except it'll be in his home. You don't bring it back. You violate this court order some fashion, then you're going to go to jail. I don't want to put either one of them in jail. I want you to behave and do what you're supposed to. It's Christmas, for goodness sakes. You're supposed to have a contact with your family. This child, I'm doing this for the child's benefit, not for Mr. Fenton's benefit. I'm doing it so this child can have time with his extended family and begin to learn that these are his family, these people are his family, and that he has these other relationships. He has medical issues. We'll have to deal with those things down the road. But this is my order for today.
Judge, and one more thing, Ms. Hewitt did start saying that she brought some documents. I did have a subpoena ducis tecum issued
I'm not
for
dealing with
her.
that, Ms. Hendrickson. I said all along that this is only about the Christmas
For the Christmas
visitation.
visitation.
You have other motions, you have other court dates, you can reset your motion. In January, we have a number of different chancery days. You can get with the clerk, you can reset your motions for a day in January, and we'll deal from there. So, but I'm telling you both right now, you better start thinking about the best interest of this child and not the possessory interest. I'm very concerned, Ms. Hewitt, about you referring to my child, my child, my child. It is your child. It is his child. Start phrasing it differently, because all that means to like me or to Mr. Fenton is that you think he belongs to you and he has no right. And I'm telling you, he has rights that are given to him under the law of Tennessee, and I'm going to enforce those rights, but I'm also going to do it in a way that this child will benefit the most that I can create. All right, Ms. Hendrickson will draw the order. We have 15 minutes before we have to break for lunch.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, everyone, buckle up. Today's case is a roller coaster of custody drama. We've got a father, Mr. Fenton, fighting for Christmas visitation with his young son, Ashton, amid conflicting claims, past misunderstandings, and complex family dynamics. From YouTube-recorded court orders to unsupervised visitation requests, this courtroom is heating up, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Who will get to spend the holidays with the child? Stay tuned because we're breaking it all down, piece by piece. Now here's where it gets tricky. The judge clearly acknowledges Mr. Fenton's right to visitation, but there's a catch. The original 90-day order specified supervised Saturdays and alternating Sundays. Then a new lawyer tried to flip that to unsupervised. This is classic courtroom tension, rules versus reality. And notice the judge stepping back to let the parents negotiate. Quick question for you viewers: if you were the judge, would you allow unsupervised visits right away, or take it step by step like this? Boom, the judge makes the call. Christmas Eve from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. unsupervised, but no overnight. This is the balancing act of family law, ensuring safety while respecting parental rights. The court even allows telephone check-ins for reassurance. This ruling shows the incremental approach, step-by-step building trust, protecting the child, and still letting the father connect with his family. Notice how every word from the judge is aimed at protecting the child's well-being first. Powerful legal strategy right here. To wrap this up, the court emphasized the best interest of the child above all. Mr. Fenton gets supervised visitation that progresses cautiously, while Ms. Hewitt's concerns about health and safety remain addressed. Both parents have rights, but the child's welfare is paramount, a textbook example of judicial balance in custody cases. If you found this case as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments.